If you've been chosen to be the personal representative of an estate, it's a bigger deal than you might think. You're a fiduciary, so you're just like a trustee, you're just like a lawyer, an accountant. You've got these obligations to the people underneath the will. What your main duties are is to step in and administer the estate, pay off the creditors, get all the assets together, and make sure they go to all the people who are intended to receive them. Now, that could be as simple as getting a lawyer, filing some paperwork with the court, and then going and collecting bank accounts and things and just waiting to see if there are bills that come in. Or it could be more complicated than that. You might have to actually go, if say they own rental property and things, or say they were the last person to die in a couple situation, you're going to be responsible for taking care of that house, making sure that any repairs get done that need to be done, making sure that it's insured, deciding whether to sell it or not and at what price. Those kind of things are big decisions, and you're going to have to do what's best for the estate. And sometimes that's not what's best for any one beneficiary. Maybe it's best for them all. You're also going to be responsible for paying the taxes. If there's an estate tax return or anything like that due, you're going to have to make sure that you get those death taxes filed with the accountant. You're going to have to pay taxes on the last year of the person's life. You're going to have to make sure that you file those. And from the time that they die to the time that you close the estate itself is going to have a tax return that's kind of due that you're going to have to go through with those things. You're going to be responsible for getting notice out there, publishing things to let everyone know, hey, probate's happening. If any bills or anything are owed to you, you should come out and let me know so I can take a look at them. You're going to be responsible for looking at all the bills that come in to find out which ones are real and should be paid and which ones shouldn't, making sure that those are taken care of and that there's enough money to do so. You're also going to be the person responsible for transferring these assets over, signing those deeds, funding those trusts, making sure if there's any extra things like they have to agree not to let the house go outside of the family. They have to make sure they agree to those things before those things come about. If anyone has a fight or a dispute, they're going to be talking to you about it. You're going to be in court talking about those things. You're going to have to read the will and make decisions about what the will means and decide whether or not to go into court and ask the judge. These things are quite a bit of there's quite a bit of stuff there. And you really shouldn't take that part lightly. It doesn't mean that it should necessarily scare you. It's a lot of work. It has a lot of technical things that go in there. Just about every personal representative is going to need a little bit of help. You're going to need probably to at least consult a lawyer, even if you decide to go through probate yourself. And if it's formal probate, you definitely shouldn't go through it yourself. If it's informal probate, you might be able to do that, but you probably still want a lawyer's help anyway because there's a lot of things that go along with it. They can help you keep the accounting of it, right? Because you're going to be called to account. You're going to have to say where every penny was spent, where all it went. You really have to keep those records. Even if they're not filed with the court, you want to keep those records because years later sometimes an heir could come up and say, hey, you forgot about me. You didn't even look for me. Those things can kind of come up, and you want to have all of your ducks in a row. So you definitely want to have a lawyer's advice with it, but it is a very important duty. It's something you should do for your family. It's really the responsibility of someone in the family to step up, and you don't want to let them down, but you also don't want to make any mistakes. You really just want to take care of the family, and that's where a lawyer can really help you out with that. But those are the responsibilities of a personal representative in probate in a nutshell.